Hello friends, welcome to Code Semantic and welcome to the video tutorial of Entity Framework 6. We are studying migration in code first approach. This video will cover code-based migration. This is another type of migration. Before this, we already saw automated migration. We saw the practical demonstration of it also. So if you are not aware of that part, please watch that video. Okay, so let us understand what is code-based migration in detail. So code-based migration basically allows you to do a migration manually. Okay, exactly opposite of automated migration. Here you have to write a command to do a migration. Okay, so what is the advantage of it? Means whenever you are doing anything manually, definitely you will have a more control on that. So that same control is given by the code-based migration. Now let us see what are the extra things that you can do. Basically, it will allows you to configure additional things such as setting the default value of column, configuring a computed column, etc. Definitely, you can do more than this. So I'm just waiting for your answer. Whatever additional things that you can do using code-based migration, you can write it in the comment section. Okay. Now let us see the commands used for code-based migration. So these three commands are used in code-based migration. So the first one is enable migrations, another one is add migration, and third one is update database. I think all of you are familiar with enable migrations. We already use this command in automated migration. Okay, so you have to use exactly same command but without an extra argument. In automated migration, we have to specify that extra argument to specify that we are using automatic migration. Okay, but in case of code-based migration, you will just fire this command, and this command is used only initially, means whenever you want to enable the migration at that time only. Now next time whenever you are going to migrate anything to your database, in that case you have to use this add migration and update database commands only. So this is called only single time, or this will be executed only once at the initial stage of migrations. Okay, as we studied in automated migration that enable migration commands create a configuration class, so here also it will create a configuration class. So definitely we are going to see the practical demonstration of it, so it will be more clear to you. Now the next important command is add migration. Okay, so this add migration command, here you have to specify one argument. Okay, you have to specify a name, and with that name a new class will be created, and it will have two methods, up method and down method. So whenever you are migrating any changes to database, up method will be called, and whenever you are roll back any changes, at that time down method will be called. And last method is update database. So whatever changes are there in your up method and in the latest migration file, that command will get applied to your database. Even you can use an extra option, that is verbose, okay, to see the SQL statements that are being applied to the database. Now let us understand this command practically. Let us switch to Visual Studio. So as you can see, I'm using the same console application that we have created while studying code first convention and data annotation. So I'm just reusing that application, and here you can see the name of database. These are the entities, programs, student address, subjects, and students. Okay, and let us have a look to SQL Server. So here also a student DB is already created. Now what we want to do, we want to update or modify our model, or we will add one more model in our application, and we will try to migrate those changes in our database. So let us switch to Visual Studio. So first of all, we will do a small change. In my student model, I'm going to add one column. So let us say prop string email. Okay, now our main program is already ready. As you can see here, I already created one record. So let us change the ID because this record is already present, and let us try to run this application. We will observe the output. So definitely all of you had guessed that it will not allow me to change it. Why? Because my model is changed now. I have to migrate those changes. So here also it gives you a suggestion that consider using code first migration to update the database. Okay, so we are going to use code based migration. The same scenario we already studied in automated migration also. So here you have to go to package manager console. Just make sure that you have selected the proper project. Since we have only single project here, so there is no necessity to specify the project name. Whenever we are working with multi-tier application, in that case you have to ensure that you are choosing the correct project. Okay, now the first command, as I told, you have to give call to enable migrations command, enable dash migrations. Okay, hit the enter key. Once you press the enter key, as you can observe here, one migration folder get added. Initially it was not there. Then these two files get created. One is configuration class file and another one is initial create class file. So all of you are familiar with configuration file. It is also get created in automated migration also. Just the difference is that in automated migration this property was true, here it is false. Okay, now what is this initial create file? Initial create file is nothing but a database structure, initial database structure. Okay, we have course table, we have student table, then student address, subject programs. Okay, so whatever is our initial structure, according to that this file get created. Okay, now the next step is to add the migration. What is the first step we did? We just enable the migrations. Now we want to move our changes to the database, so we have to add the migration. For that you have to use add dash migration command, and then you have to specify your migration name. So let us call it as update 1. It can be anything, it is just for your understandability. Just press the enter key. Okay, now whenever you will add a migration, automatically files get created. So as you can see here, see this update 1 file get created, and this is nothing but a timestamp of at what time we have created a file. Okay, so this is 2020 is nothing but year, 10 is month, 04 is day. Okay, and this is related to time part. So as you can see here, we added one extra property, that is email, right? So this new change, whatever change we did, that get added in our migration, whatever new migration we add. Now here you can specify the extra things, additional settings, that is what will be the default value and etc etc. So here I'll show you how to specify the default value. So there is one argument to it, so argument name is default value itself, and say I want to specify the default value as test@gmail.com. It can be anything. Basically this is wrong idea to specify the default value for email. There should be a proper column to specify the default value. Now once everything is done, okay, then you have to update these changes to the database. So as you can see here, there is up method and down method. Whenever you are changing the whenever you are moving the changes to the database, at that time up method will be used, and whenever you are doing rollback, at that time down method will be used. Okay, so let us update these changes to the database. So here I'll say update dash database. Okay, you can even use the verbose option. So without verbose, it will just update the changes. With verbose, it will show you what is the SQL command that is going to be executed in the SQL server. I'm just hitting the enter key. Okay, Now let us see the SQL command. So this is the SQL command. Okay, alter table student, add email, data type is n_var_char, and this is the default value. So this command get executed. Now let us observe it in a database. Okay, even you can check the default value setting also. So just go to design, and if we check the email default value, it is test@gmail.com. Now what is the meaning of this? Whenever you fire an insert query, and if you do not specify email column or value for the email column, at that time default value will be test@gmail.com. So let me show you. I'll just add a new query, and this is the insert command. Okay, I'm just mentioning the name, birth date is bona fide, contact number and program ID column. Roll number is auto generated, that's why I'm not specifying it, and even I didn't specify email column. Okay, so let us execute the command. Okay, it get executed successfully. Let us select the value. So select star from students. Let us execute this command. See, we didn't provide value for email column, so default value will be taken. Okay, so these extra things can be done with the help of code based migration only. Okay, now let us do one more migration. Now we will add new model in our application. Okay, so let me add one class. Say teacher, and these are its properties. Okay, so here we are going for code first convention. I'm not mentioning anything or any configuration related to column. So teacher ID is definitely going to be a primary key. My column name will have column name will be teacher name, contact and email. All will be of type n_var_char. So how to configure these columns we already studied. Okay, so the most important thing is that I have to specify one property of type dbset. So then only it will be recognized by entity framework that this is a new model representing a database table. So teachers gets it. That's it. Now again, if you run your application without migration, it will throw an error because now our application date get changes. Okay, a new model get added to our application. So what we have to do? We have to again add new migration. Okay, so now remember one thing, enable migrations command will be executed only once at the initial stage. Okay, after that you have to execute add migration and update database commands only. So let us give call to add migration command. Add migration, again specify the name. So this is our second migration, so I'll say update to. So again it will create one more file here, update to, with a name update to, and this is our timestamp. And here you can see what is date. Means it is going to create a new table. Table name will be teachers. These are the column value. This is going to be a primary key. And if you see here in the down method, it will drop table. Means if I roll back the migration, in that case this down method will execute and it will drop the table. Now let us move these changes to database. So what is the command? Update database, right? So update dash database and then verbose. Okay, the enter key. Definitely verbose is optional, you can skip it. This is just to view the SQL command that is executed at your database. So this command get executed. Okay, and if you see one more command get executed, insert command. Okay, I will show you. So let us switch to database. Let me refresh this. and here you will observe that there will be one more table, that is teachers. And whenever you add any migration, okay, at that time one entry will be put in this table, that is migration history table. Okay, that migration ID will be same that you have created while adding the migration. Okay, so it should be a unique name, that's why it automatically added the timestamp. Now this teachers table get created at our database, right? Now there might be a situation that we want to roll back our changes. Okay, so everything we are handling through a code, so this rollback should be done through a code. Because what happened, just assume that you delete this teachers table. Okay, so in that case my database and model are not consistent, or you can say they are not in sync. So definitely it will again generates an error. So basically whatever changes you want to do in database, it should be done through the code only, because we are studying code first approach, right? Now just assume that you don't want this teachers table to be created. Okay, in that case what we can do, we can just roll back our migration. Okay, so you can roll back your migration up to this step. This update to migration will be cancelled, or whatever changes did by update to migration will be rolled back to your database. Means in update to migration we created a teachers table, right? And if we roll back to update 1, whatever there is in update 2 get reverted, means teachers table will be dropped. Okay, so let's see how to do rollback. So to roll back your migration, again you need to use update database command. Okay, but this time you have to use this option, that is target migration. And to this target migration, you have to specify your migration name. Okay, you have to specify the migration name to the point which you want to roll back. Okay, means as I told you, let us switch to SQL. As I told you, I want to roll back this update to migration content. In that case, I have to roll back to update 1. So whatever there is in update 2 will be cancelled or roll back. And for that means whenever you are specifying that target migration parameter or option, to that option you have to specify this migration ID. Okay, so we want to roll back to update 1. So I have to specify this name. Okay, so let us try this. Let us switch to Visual Studio. So again I am going to Package Manager console. Here I have to execute update dash database, then dash target migration, and then you have to specify the name of migration to which you want to roll back. So I want to roll back up to update 1. So I'll specify this name. So this name and whatever there is in a database, both are same. Okay, so let me specify it and just hit the enter key. Okay, here also you can use verbose to determine what command is going to be executed at SQL side. But as I told you, it executes the command whatever is there in down method. Okay, so in down method, what is the method? Drop table. So according to that, the SQL will be executed. Now let us switch to SQL Server again. Let us execute this command. See, update to entry is removed from the database, and as you can see here, it is teacher table is still there. Let me refresh it. Let us expand this table node. Yes, now there is no teachers table, right? Actually at application side there are no changes. Okay, but at DB sides all the changes are there. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial. If you have any doubt related to migration, definitely you can write it to me. Thanks for watching. Bye.